This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, it is Friday, November 21st, and it is all going down in 4.5 hours. Mamdani will enter the Oval Office and meet with Donald J. Trump. I don't know. There's some good football games this weekend, good college games, I'm sure, and always some good NFL games. But I'm a little more excited about this showdown. The President of the United States is hosting the soon-to-be mayor of New York City, the man who will destroy New York City, if he doesn't if he doesn't turn his back on his loyal constituents, the person they voted for, the communist, the radical, the Muslim Marxist, that might not be the guy who is running New York City, because he's a lot of things. I don't think Mamdani's a moron. I mean, he is a communist, but I don't think he's stupid. So he knows what he promised to do to New York will not work. It will be a disaster. So he's already flip-flopping. We will see how he handles this meeting, because he based his candidacy on going after Trump, fighting Trump, stopping Trump. He never hesitated to tell you how much he despised the commander-in-chief. He'll go into the Oval Office with a big smile and a big handshake, and he'll get a tour. Trump will show him the new construction in the East Wing, the ballroom. He'll show him the lineup of all the presidents. He'll show him President Otto Penn. By the way, happy birthday to President Otto Penn. Joe Biden turned 83 yesterday, and it's hard to believe, but it was 16 months ago. The Democrats and the media were telling you he was tip-top. He was ready to do 4 more years. They wanted him to get reelected and continue to serve as president till he was 87. Yes, that's what the media told you, that he was okay, that he could do it, whatever it took to stop Trump, and they were willing to back a corpse. But we're done with that. Joe Biden is yesterday's news. We saw him at the Dick Cheney funeral. What a gathering that was. If you haven't seen the pictures, the video of Dick Cheney's funeral, Rachel Maddow was sitting with Dr. Anthony Fauci and James Carville. Yes, the Darth Vader, the most evil man, the man they hated more than anyone until Trump came along, was buried yesterday. And Rachel Maddow and Fauci showed up to pay their respects. A whole bunch of Democrats did. Al Gore was there, and Kamala and Jill sat next to each other, and it was icy. These two hate each other. And Joe Biden shuffled in, and George Bush gave the eulogy. It was fine. Liz Cheney gave the eulogy and held back. She didn't go after Trump. I thought she would. She didn't really. But Dick Cheney he lived to be 84 somehow. This guy was dying 40 years ago. But anyway, we digress. We have this showdown in the White House, and I'm going to tell you why it's not going to go well for the commie. Trump loves this. Trump's base understands that Donald Trump will meet with anybody. It's what he does. He meets with people. He makes deals. He could schmooze with anybody. He's met with Kim Jong-un. He met recently with Xi Jinping. He met with Putin. He met with the most evil people in the world. He'll do anything that helps the United States of America. It's what he does. That's how he lives. Sure, I'll meet with the commie. Why not? So Trump's base is perfectly okay with this. We understand. That's what Trump does. He makes deals. He meets with people. He smiles. He shakes hands. He'll have a few laughs. He'll poke fun at him for being a communist. And there's nobody in Trump's world that has a problem with that. They hate Mamdani. They hate communism. They hate socialism. They don't like radical Muslims who are taking over our cities. But they understand Trump meets with people. And he's going to meet with the mayor, and he'll go back and forth. There'll be some laughs. He'll take some jabs. He'll call him a commie. That's cool. Now, what does Mamdani's base think of this? They hate this. They hate Trump with the fury of 1,000 suns. They're obsessed with hating Donald Trump. So they're not going to like this. Mamdani has to go in there on bended knee. He has no choice. He needs the federal government. He needs federal funding. He's counting on $7 billion from the federal government, more than 6% of his budget. He needs Trump for infrastructure projects. He needs Trump to pay for all the freebies, all the goodies he promised his base. But they can't stand the thought of treating Trump like the president. They can't stand the thought of humanizing him. They want their guy to go in there and be confrontational. And he can't do that. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to meet at 3:00. They're going to have a meeting. The cameras will be loud in. They'll take some questions. They'll have some laughs. They'll take a tour. And then Mamdani's people will rage. They'll seethe. They'll say, why did he do that? He is turning his back on us. Well, I got news for you, commies. The 84% of young women who voted for him, the Upper East Side white cat ladies who voted for him, you're not going to like this. He's not going to go in there and punch Trump in the face, which is what they want, which is what they're hoping for. He can't do that. He needs Trump. And you know what else? He can't do any of the things he promised you, you absolute fools. It's going to be beautiful, glorious, wonderful. Watching this go down. He's going to take office on January 1st. By Martin Luther King Day, his base is going to be pissed because they think he's going to give them free buses and free childcare, and they think these wonderful government-owned grocery stores are going to have all this, fresh fruit and vegetables, and they're going to be sorely disappointed. I just made a quick list of things he's already flip-flopped on. Mamdani isn't really going to give you free buses. Let's be honest. He can't raise the corporate tax rate. These are state issues, and Kathy Hochul's already said they can't do that. So they're not going to get free childcare. They're not going to get all the socialist policies they voted for. They can't. It's not possible. So what you're looking at right here, he's great. He smiles. He can dance. He can speak. He can give a speech. He can fire up his base. But he can't do any of the things he told you he was going to do, or very few of them. So get ready to be disappointed in the commie Mamdani. Get that clip where he explains it doesn't matter how he's going to fund all these wonderful socialist policies. The only thing that matters is that they do it. This answer is so perfect. This is socialism right here. We're going to fund everything. Oh, how are you going to do that? Oh, it doesn't matter. No. Why are you asking? We're just going to fund it. This is what he says. Again, I think he's smart. Even though he couldn't get into Columbia, even though his father was a professor, he settled for Bowdoin. But he's smart, he's slick, he's sleazy, and he's a socialist. And this is the kind of explanation you get when you elect a socialist. Check this out.
And the other one, you've been talking about fast and free buses and you're meeting with the governor. I've heard you talk about many times that you don't want to take money away from the MTA. You want to put money back in. It's something that she agrees with, right? We don't want to take away money from the MTA. How are you getting that money, the $700 million to make the buses free, into the MTA if she's not for raising taxes?
I think that the two clearest ways to raise that money is through the raising of the state's corporate tax to match that in New Jersey. I think that a lot of this is still a case to be made, whether it's the corporate tax or that's the personal income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year or more. I think that these are the clearest ways. I've also said that if there are other ways to raise this funding, the most important fact is that we fund it, not the question of how we do it, but that we do it.
Oh, I love that. It's not a question of how we do it. It's just that we do it. And all the commies in New York are, yeah, that's a good point, Mayor. It's not a question of how we fund it. That's the only question, stupid. How you fund it? How do you fund it? One thing you need is Trump. You need the federal government. I don't think Trump wants New York City to descend into a dystopian hellhole. He's got a lot of real estate there. That's his home. But if this man got his way, if he could indeed implement his policies, that's exactly what would happen. Here's a couple more things that are pissing off his base already. He's keeping on Jessica Tisch, whatever, the police chief. He's keeping her on board. They hate her. She enforces the law. She's competent. She's not a radical like them. He's not backing all the socialists. There's a socialist nut job who wants to challenge Hakeem Jeffries. He's not going to back that guy. That is pissing off the DSA, the Democrats, socialists, the radicals. And you know what he did the other day? He celebrated transgender day of visibility, or week or month or whatever. Every day is a day of transgender visibility. It's all we get. He posted a message wishing everyone a happy transgender week of visibility. And I had to ask, you know that radical imam that he appeared with just before the election, the guy who was a co-conspirator in the 93 World Trade Center bombing? You know all the people taking the streets, attacking Jewish people? They surrounded a synagogue a couple of nights ago in New York City, a bunch of radical Hamas fans. They're his biggest supporters. They are why he got elected. You think they were all celebrating Trans Week of Visibility? It's going to be a tough juggling act, a tough time on the tightrope for this guy, because he has two really important bases. One is the radical LGBT community. They voted for him they elected him with 84% of their vote. The gay community, trans community, support him. The other really important base that elected him by even bigger numbers are radical Muslims. Good luck bringing those two constituencies together. Good luck keeping them both happy. It can't be done. It's like everything else, he says. It can't be done. It won't be done. It's going to be fascinating watching this slick sleazeball try to keep everybody happy. And it's going to be awesome watching him try to be respectful of the president today without alienating his base who hate the president. Here was Mamdani on the campaign trail talking about Donald Trump. Trump knows this too. Trump knows that he has been bad-mouthing him and ripping and calling him the devil throughout the campaign. He's going to drop that now. He knows he can't do that now. But this is the guy, all the crazy New York socialists, the radicals, this is what they want. Here's Mamdani just a couple of months ago.
Team reached out to the White House to set up this meeting because I will work with anyone to make life more affordable for the more than 8.5 million people who call this city home. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers. If an agenda hurts New Yorkers, I will also be the first to say so. Thank you.
Good luck with that. Anything that benefits. You think any of his policies benefit New Yorkers? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. And he knows it. And Trump called him a communist, used his middle name, which is Kwame. He said, the communist mayor, Zoran Kwame Mamdani, is coming to D.C. I think Mamdani posted a picture of himself on the plane heading to D.C. this morning. I think he's nervous as hell. And I think Trump is relishing this opportunity. Here's what else is happening as we speak in D.C. This is incredible. In 2025, in the United States of America, we're doing this. We're dealing with this. We're talking about this. There's a proposal going before Congress to condemn socialism. Yes, condemn socialism. It's hard to believe if you grew up in this country that we're doing this. We're debating whether socialism is better than capitalism. We're doing that in the United States. It's an issue. It's going to go before the House, and most Democrats are going to vote against it. Certainly all the radicals, all the squad, and AOC and Jasmine and Ayanna are going to. Right now, Democrats are being asked about this, and they're saying, if you condemn socialism, that means you condemn Social Security and Medicare. So no, we're not going to condemn socialism. Yes, the Democrat Party will not condemn socialism. They will not. That's where we are right now. One party supports socialism, defends socialism, and the other does not. That's going to happen today. I believe it's happening as we speak. Yes. Will you condemn socialism? Almost every Democrat will say no. This is a good idea. Who's ever floating this? This is a good idea. Before we move on, I want to mention a bad idea, a bad Trump move. This move yesterday, and we talked about it briefly, it was happening yesterday morning, where Trump posts that the Democrat veterans in the House and the Senate implored military people to defy his orders, and they mentioned you must defy unlawful orders. It was a stunt. It blew up on them. It made them. It forced them to have to explain themselves because it was so vague, so nebulous. What are you people talking about? They wouldn't say. They just wanted to plant a seed in the minds of Marines and soldiers and military people and CIA people that they could defy the commander-in-chief. It was disgusting. But it's not the story today. The story is Trump's response. I know he's a loose cannon. I know he does what he wants, says what he wants, but this was foolish. The onus was on them to explain, what are you talking about? And the question of, is it seditious, was a good one. That question was gone. As soon as Trump posted, it gave every mainstream media outlet, it gave CNN, I just watched, it gave them content for the whole day. The commander-in-chief wants to execute members of the Senate and the House. It's not really what he said. He just said it's seditious, or seditious behavior is punishable by death, which is true. And he didn't name their names or post their pictures. And now they're the victims. And Democrats love nothing more than being the victim. They now have 24/7 security. All 6 of those people that made that video. Yeah, there's the post. Seditious behavior punishable by death. And he said they should hang, because that's what George Washington would do. Now that's classic Trump, but it was foolish because it just allowed them to change the subject and play the victim. I understand. Donald Trump does what he wants when he wants. There's no filter. There's no editor. But he could have saved this for a day or two. He could have let them twist in the wind for a day. Let them be forced to explain themselves. What did you mean? What are you talking about specifically? Are you talking about the troops off the coast of Venezuela? Are you talking about the National Guard in the cities? What do you guys mean? You have to ignore unlawful orders. What unlawful orders? They wouldn't answer. They couldn't answer. But as soon as Trump posted this, they didn't have to answer. They could play the victim. They could say, he wants me dead. And they did. They went on. Every one of them went on with their friends in the mainstream media and said, it's unprecedented. The president wants a member of the Senate dead. And the media ate it up. It was just an unforced error. It was unnecessary. Trump didn't have to do this. He could have said what we all said. What are they talking about? Explain yourself, Jason Crow. Explain yourself, Alyssa Slotnick. Tell us, what do you mean? What unlawful orders? Are you going to support some soldier, some guy in the Navy on a aircraft carrier who defies orders? Are you going to have their back when they get court-martialed? There was a lot of good questions. They're all irrelevant now because Trump wants them executed. But anyway, that's Trump. You take that, good with the bad. But all right, we had so much to get to. We have to get to this story out of Minneapolis. We will. It is incredible what's going on in this country right now. If you're not paying attention, there is a insurgency, an Islamic insurgency happening all over the country, not just Dearborn, Michigan, where it's bad, or Minneapolis, in Texas, in New York. We have to wake up. Everyone has to wake up and look and see where we are, what is happening. And nothing is more revealing, more disturbing than what is going on in Minneapolis right now. We are being fleeced. We are being scammed. Somali immigrants, legal, illegal, are stealing from American taxpayers, sending the money home to fund Islamic terrorism. And everybody is afraid to say it. They have been cowed. They have bowed down to this insurgency, to this threat. And Minneapolis right now is conquered. It's gone. You're not going to believe what the police chief of Minneapolis, we know about the mayor, we know about the governor, Tim Walz, who has facilitated this fraud, this crime in his state. But you're not going to believe what the police chief had to say after they busted this fraud ring. And you're not going to believe how big it is. They are just stealing hundreds, billions. They have stolen billions from Minneapolis, Minnesota taxpayers. That's one city. It's spreading. It's happening. And people have to wake up and stop being afraid to be labeled an Islamophobe or a bigot. This is real, man. This is scary. This is a crisis we're talking about here. And Minneapolis is one city. They didn't come here to assimilate. We know that. Many of them came here to steal from us, to scam us. And Minneapolis is a crime scene right now. We'll get to that. And of course, we'll get to Jasmine Crockett, who's out there. She's now defending Stacey Plaskett. She's defending that Florida Congresswoman, Sheila, whatever her name is, Sheila McCormick, who stole $5 million from FEMA. I think you probably understand where this is going, but Jasmine, she's the face of this Democrat Party, and she's out there defending the criminals and the liars in her party. We'll get to that and much more, but first.
Excuse me.
The Better Business Bureau is now warning us not to use tap and pay due to a new scam. It's called ghost tapping. Another way cyber criminals are trying to get to us. Phishing emails, fake text messages, data breaches, ghost tapping. That's why our friends at Webroot are offering a huge discount on their total protection package with lightning fast antivirus to identity theft protection with dark web monitoring, secure VPN. You have to have a VPN now, and unlimited cloud backup. Webroot Total Protection helps defend every part of our digital life. With up to $1 million in fraud expense reimbursement, 24/7 US-based customer service support, and new text scam detection. Now you're backed by powerful protection that's built for today's threats. Get cyber secure with 60% off Webroot Total Protection at webroot.com/Newsmax. 60% off. The biggest discount they've ever offered, but only when you go to webroot.com/Newsmax. Do not wait. Get cyber secure with Webroot Total Protection today at webroot.com/Newsmax.
All right, we'll be celebrating Christmas soon, and in some places, in some cities, parts of America, other parts, not so much. Get ready. This is going to be incremental. It is creeping in many places, and we talk about Dearborn, Michigan, and Minneapolis, but they're trying to build an entire Muslim community in Texas. If you haven't read about this, heard about this, EPIC, it's called EPIC. It's incredible. They want to have their own police force. They're already well armed. They want Sharia law in swaths of Texas. I'm telling you, people have to stop looking the other way and saying diversity is our strength. And, what are you, anti-immigrant? Yes, I'm anti-immigrant. If the immigrants are coming here to steal from us, to rob us blind. This is a story in the City Journal. Now, you might not even know what that is. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get a story like this in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. You're not going to see it in the New York Times or the Washington Post because they're co-conspirators. They're okay with with Muslim immigrants conquering major American cities. But man, people have to wake up. This will blow your mind. I recommend you read this story. I tweeted it out. You just Google it. City Journal. It's by Christopher Rufo, who's just a great journalist, and Ryan Thorpe. It's a long story, and it is mind-blowing. Here it is, just posted yesterday. Minnesota is drowning in fraud. Billions in taxpayer dollars have been stolen during the administration of Governor Tim Walz. Democrat state officials overseeing one of the most generous welfare regimes in the country are asleep at the switch, and the media, duty-bound by progressive pieties, refuse to connect the dots. In many cases, the fraud has allegedly been perpetrated by members of Minnesota's sizable Somalia community. Federal counterterrorism sources confirmed that millions of dollars in stolen funds had been sent back to Somalia, where they ultimately landed in the hands of a terror group, Al-Shabaab. As one source put it, the largest funder of Al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. So in sum, they are stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from Minnesota taxpayers and sending it home, cash. They're sending home cash to terrorists, Muslim terrorists, which is a major terrorist organization in Africa. You're paying for that. Minnesota, not just Minnesota taxpayers, federal taxpayers. And it outlines the scheme. It goes through various organizations, feeding our future. They're stealing from charities that are supposed to feed poor people and help autistic children. That's their favorite charity. That's their favorite source for money. This is mind-blowing. In 2018, Minnesota funded this autism agency. They spent $3 million on it for children with autism. In 2023, 5 years later, $399 million went to this charity for autistic kids. Again, $3 million, 5 years later, $400 million. You know why? Because these Somalian scam artists figured out how to steal from this program. They found people, mothers, fathers, and they said, if we diagnose your child with autism, we can get you money. And they would give them money and take half and send it home to fund terrorism, Islamic terrorism. And they did it in plain sight. I hate to say this, but it's true. It's their culture. The culture, and we've talked about this before, is to find a way to beat the system, to steal from the system. And that's what they've been doing. It's mind-blowing. They busted some of them. It said, here it is. If you were to design a welfare program to facilitate fraud, it would look like Minnesota's Medicaid housing stabilization services. The HHS program, the first of its kind in the country, was launched with a noble goal to help seniors, addicts, the disabled, and mentally ill secure housing. Costs quickly. The program began in 2020 with a price tag of $2.6 million. Costs quickly spiraled out of control. In 2021, it went to $21 million, and then it went to 42, 74, 104. During the first 6 months of this year, $61 million. Joe Thomas is an acting U.S. attorney. He said it has become the vast majority of the program is fraudulent. He said most of the cases, unlike Medicaid fraud aren't just overbilling. These are purely fictitious companies solely created to defraud the system. And that's unique in the extent to which we have fraud here in Minnesota. They're just making up fraudulent companies. He says, I've spent my entire career as a fraud prosecutor, and the depth of the fraud takes my breath away. A career prosecutor, the extent of the fraud takes his breath away. And they go through some of the people who've been busted already. The money's gone, by the way. It's back in Somalia, but they're arresting some of these people. We're going to get to the arrest. We're going to get to the fraudsters leverage their growing political influence to cultivate close ties to Minnesota's elected officials. Several individuals involved in Feeding Our Future donated to Ilhan Omar. Omar's district director advocated on behalf of Feeding the Future. So her assistant, pushed this charity. The people didn't donate. Taxpayers donated, and then they sent the money home. Tim Walz said the happiest day of his life was when Ilhan Omar got elected. I'd like to know what this idiot, I mean, he's obviously a moron, but was he part of this? Is he part of this? And the thing with the autism is just incredible. It says autism claims to Medicaid have skyrocketed, as we said, from 3 million to 399 million. The number of autism providers have spiked from 41 to 328, with many in the Somali community establishing their own autism treatment centers, citing a need for culturally appropriate programming. 1 in 16 Somali 4-year-olds have been diagnosed with autism, more than triple the state average. This is what they're doing. They're diagnosing their own people. Their Somali community health centers are diagnosing children with autism at 4, children who don't have autism, and then they're getting millions through this program, and they're sending it home to a terrorist organization. Now I want to get to the best part. And again, all the politicians, Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, Ilhan Omar, they're in on it, or they're looking the other way because they don't want to lose support in the Somali community, and they don't want to be labeled Islamophobic or racist or bigoted. The police chief held a press conference. His name is Brian O'Hara, the police chief. It's hard to believe that 5 years ago, Minneapolis was burning after George Floyd overdosed. Those are the good old days. Now it is just a hotbed of fraud and theft of taxpayers by these invaders who don't belong here, who were led into this country with no intention of, forget assimilating. How about working? How about paying taxes? No, they come here with one goal. How do we fleece the system? How do we scam the taxpayer? This picture is incredible. The police chief, Brian O'Hara, again, a white guy from Minnesota, surrounded by Somalians. He has a translator. So what he says to the public, to the viewers, to the taxpayers, has to be translated into Somalian for the people who have just dominated this city. This is how you succeed, or how you keep your job in Minnesota. You just completely bend over. You bend the knee to these radicals who came here to fleece you, to steal from you. He holds a press conference after they announce arrests in this major fraud ring, after they bust these crooks who stole from the taxpayer. And what does he do? He apologizes. Forget the fact that, Ilhan Omar and Omar Fateh and Tim Walz are facilitating this scam. You have a chief of police who's apologizing for catching the crooks. That's where we are in Minnesota. That's how far gone the city of Minneapolis is. Listen to this. It's real.
community hadda caruurteena inaan garab istaagno chiefkana waa u baahannahay annagana waa isku baahannahay
عشان oo kamid ah odayaasha community-ga Soomaaliyeed iyo waalidiinta magaaladan degan ilmaha ku koriyay.
The Somali community here in Minneapolis has been welcoming and has shown love towards me, and I appreciate it. Over the last 3 years, we have been working together to try and address some of the real serious problems that we have in our community. We have to be honest at times with the problems that we're having in our community, and we need our community to help us fix those problems together because it's real and it's serious. At the same time, if people have taken anything that I have said out of context in a way that's caused harm, I apologize and I'm sorry for that because that's not my intention at all.
Oh my God. That is the chief of police. I apologize. The community's been welcoming the people around him. I mean, as Donald Trump would say, many of them, I'm sure, are fine people. But these aren't people who came here because they love the country. They aren't people. Do you think any of these guys are going to join the military, fight for this country? You think they put their hand over their heart and sing the national anthem? Do you think they wave the American flag outside their taxpayer-funded homes in Minneapolis? Of course not. They came here because they knew we were an easy mark. They knew they could steal and send it home to the country they love, Somalia, this hellhole. Here's an amazing number. The total number that has been stolen and sent back to Somalia, 1.7 billion. That is bigger than the entire federal budget of Somalia. So we have people scamming the system in an American city, sending money home to their hellhole country, and the money is paying for everything, including terrorism. The budget is not, for the whole country is smaller than the amount of money they're stealing from taxpayers in Minnesota and sending home. Now we could correct this. We could ban remittances. We could tax them. We could stop allowing people to come in here from a country where so many of them have the one goal of stealing from us, but we won't. You won't have a single Democrat condemn this. You won't have a single mainstream media outlet report this. And yet it's happening in a major Midwestern city. And it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen because of pathetic, spineless, gutless pukes like this police chief, surrounded by people who look at us and say, yeah, they got money. Let's go in. We'll run a scam. Let's pretend our kids are autistic. There you go. Every kid shows up autistic. Another whatever, $5,000, another 100,000, 500,000. This is happening in an American city by foreign criminals. And we think it's just part of the American experience. Sure, we're a melting pot. No, we're not. They're not interested in melting. They're not interested in assimilating. They're here to steal from us. And it's going to spread. We're an easy mark. Half the country, Democrats don't care. They won't say a word. Hell, we have a Democrat congresswoman who's part of this scam ring. Do you have any doubt that Ilhan Omar is aware of exactly what her community is doing? Do you have any doubt that Jacob Fry, that pathetic, the guy who won, the mayor, he's the mayor of Minneapolis. He won because there were warring factions among the Somalis. He ran against a Somalian, the Captain Phillips guy, and he beat him because they were warring clans. And the one clan wouldn't vote for him, wouldn't vote for Fateh because they were in the other clan. So they voted for Fry. And what did Fry do? He signed an executive order allowing the Muslim call to prayer at all hours of the day and night in Minneapolis. And he did a press conference with a bunch of Somalians who just want to use him, who know he's an easy mark, and they just want to take over, conquer the whole city. Well, read the story. That's all I'll say. City Journal, cityjournal.com, whatever it is, and just try to get your mind around how big this scam is, how foolish we look, just how we're allowing this in this day and age. Our founding fathers are hanging their heads in shame somewhere. All right, let's get to more. Let's get to another update on the latest darling of the Democrat Party. I have a feeling, this guy could become a national figure. Could become maybe a candidate for national office. Maybe he could be on the ticket in 2028. His name is Michael English. He's from Rhode Island. He's running for mayor of Rhode Island, which is a far left state, mayor of Providence, far left city and a far left state, a place just rife with corruption. Speaking of corruption, Democrat corruption, this is this is a hotbed for Democrat corruption, and I think this guy would fit right in. Here it is from the Gateway Pundit. Didn't see this. Maybe I missed it. Didn't see it in the local media, but here it is. A Democrat convicted child molester who sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl and later violated a no-contact order is running for mayor of Providence, Rhode Island. There he is on your screen. He looks the part, does he not? He looks, there's a 13-year-old girl. Well, she's older now, but there's a woman out there who still has nightmares that look like that right there. Michael English, a Democrat and convicted child molester, is running for mayor. In 1998, English pleaded no contest to sexually molesting a 13-year-old girl. He only served 15 months, which is unbelievable. According to I guess it was in the Providence Journal, English committed multiple sexual acts with an underage girl when he was 26. He's now 54. He briefly mentioned it in a letter announcing his campaign. He said, I made immature decisions that led to my arrest and a period of incarceration. I failed to live up to my potential. He pleaded no contest, sexual assault, second-degree child molestation. Despite prosecutors pushing for serious prison time, he was sentenced to 20 years with all but 18 months suspended. He did 15 months for molesting a 13-year-old girl. 15 months. He's now a Democrat candidate for mayor. I don't think we have any polling yet, but you know what my question is will he do better or worse with Rhode Island voter or Providence voters because of his past? I mean, this sounds like a resume enhancer if you're a Democrat. I mean, this helped Gary Stubbs in Massachusetts. Didn't slow him down at all. He got reelected every time after we found out he plied a young teenage aide with vodka and had his way with him. I think in New England, if you're a Democrat, this is a feature, not a bug. So good luck to Mr. English, who will fit right in the Democrat Party, which brings us to the face, the star of the Democrat Party. We can't get away from her. She just is relentless. Queen Jasmine, who, as we know, is abusive to her staff. She forces them to drive her 1 block to the Capitol in like a big Suburban, which she leases for like thousands of dollars, and forces them to open the door for her when she gets places. She won't walk anywhere. You knew when some Democrat congresswomen, African-American Democrat congresswomen, were in trouble. Stacey Plaskett was texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing. Yes, a convicted pedophile was telling a Democrat delegate what to ask during a hearing. That would end the career of a Republican. But again, it's fine for a Democrat. And then you had Sheila, I got to get her name, Sheila McCormick of Florida, accused of stealing $5 million from FEMA, because Democrats care so much about victims of hurricane and other disasters. She stole, allegedly, $5 million to pay for her campaign, which means she probably wouldn't be in Congress if she hadn't stole $5 million from taxpayers. Well, as they often do, they sent Jazzy out there to defend them, and it went about as well as you would expect. By the way, Sheila McCormick, you were wondering what she would say in her defense? She did exactly what you'd expect. She said they're only going after her because she's black. Of course. They allow white guys to steal millions from FEMA. Everyone knows that. They look their other way. But when a black woman steals from FEMA and they arrest her, it's because she's black. And of course, Jazzy's out there to make the case. Is this Jazzy on Stacey Plaskett? When the Plaskett thing broke, you said, how the hell do you defend that? Literally texting with a pedophile, a convicted.
The modern day lynching one.
We'll start with the Plaskett one. I want to hear this because you wondered, how would you defend that? What would the defense be? Oh, and then Jamie Raskin said she was just texting with a constituent. Here she is explaining that Plaskett did nothing wrong. And she's does it, of course, in her ghetto dialect. We know she went to expensive private schools. She used to be very well-spoken, but she's an actor putting on an act, pretending she's, from the streets, from the hood. Here she is defending Plaskett.
Because I'm sorry, but we don't have ethical rules that say that you can't receive text messages or you can't respond to text messages, especially if somebody has a certain record and you can't do it in committee. We all be sitting on our phones, and yes, people be texting. I mean, our staff texts us, everybody texts us, people. I remember when I had the bleach blonde situation, who was texting me? My pastor. Okay. So let me be clear. There is no ethical violation. And so the idea or the audacity to decide that you want to strip a black woman of her committee assignment because she was texting with Epstein.
That the idea that you want to punish a woman for texting with a convicted pedophile who was telling you what to ask in a hearing. It is amazing. When the story broke, we said, man, that is bad. But no, it's perfectly appropriate because Jazzy was texting with her pastor. You don't see a difference there, Jazzy? You don't see a distinction between texting with your pastor and texting with a pedophile? Who the hell's your pastor? Here she is going off the rails, talking about the real problem that we're allowing people to lynch black people down south. This was yesterday, 2025. This is a sitting congresswoman. This is real. Play it.
Gonna do? They not even going. Honestly, they're about to outlaw the idea of white supremacy and white hate. They are about to be oh, that's not a thing. Forget the fact that you're talking about getting rid of the classification for nooses in a time in which we have seen these random black bodies be strung up down south. Also, seemingly at a time in which you're back in office, because what you do is you embolden the hate. You embolden everybody to take off their hoods. That is what he has done. He is the one that is producing this violence. Listen.
What the hell? Congresswoman, a sitting congresswoman. People voted for that. That was a fake news story that the Coast Guard was going to declassify nooses as hate. It was made up. And of course she runs with it. But people are lynching black people down south today. I haven't heard that. I gotta read up. Man, she is. It just never ends. Sometimes you just hope you live long enough to see the end of the race hustling, of the race baiting, just the race obsession. You're in Congress. You're an idiot. You're a fool, and you're in Congress, and you're black. I don't think we've held you down, Jazzy. I don't think it has been a real obstacle for you. You think if she were white, they would have voted for her? I mean, maybe, but She's a clown. She's in Congress. And Sheila McCormick is a thief, and she's in Congress. And Stacey Plaskett is colluding with a pedophile, and she's in Congress. I don't think anyone's holding you down, Jazzy. But, all right, how much time? Oh, shoot. I want to get to the Stephen A. story. Do we have time for Stephen A? Stephen A.
Of course.
I mean, at some point, can we just all admit Stephen A. is not real? He's an actor. I love when these political talk shows, and they do it all the time. People like, Jesse Waters plays clips. Watch them sometime. Tell me when he ever has an original thought, when he ever has something that advances the conversation of the debate. He just screams platitudes, just screams obvious, and he doesn't take a stand on anything. He just states the obvious because he's famous and because he's loud. They play it like it's somehow provocative. He does not have an original thought in his head. He spreads himself too thin. He can't be on top of the news politically and in sports. And he knows that his real appeal is the performance, is the presentation. So he doesn't really feel compelled to have an original thought because it's working. He just spews things that don't even, that he's heard somewhere else. He just states all cliches, all just obvious observations, and somehow they treat him like a great thinker. He's not. He's an actor. He was on, what was it, All My Children once. He's the same thing when he's on First Take. He's just acting. He's just reciting lines and doing it loudly. But he often, he often finds just the dumbest thing to make it sound like he's saying something edgy and provocative. Here he is yesterday calling Drake Maye out. And you're saying, oh, wow, Drake Maye's had an amazing season. Drake Maye is an MVP contender. He has been flawless. Drake Maye has been flawless. You tell me where Drake Maye is failing. Tell me a weakness, a flaw. I mean, he can run, he could throw, he's been clutch, he's been tough, he's winning, he's incredibly accurate. He's amazing. He's been amazing. And Patriots fans are pinching themselves, and this can't be real. This guy is just perfect so far. Well, we found a flaw. Drake Maye said he doesn't watch Stephen A's stupid TV show. He didn't know Cam Newton was on the show. I didn't know that. I watch a lot of cable, everything. I didn't know Cam Newton was on. I don't even know when Stephen A's show is on. I don't care. I mean, I see enough of them just online. But Drake Maye said he doesn't watch First Take. And what does Stephen A? He calls him out. Drake Maye's a liar. Listen to this.
This kid, he can run it, he's tough, he's poised, and he's absolutely dynamic in the pass game. And this team under Mike Vrabel can win the AFC Championship.
He's also a liar. He's also a liar. First of all, let me tell you, it's not to brag, listen. Pardon the Interruption is the #1 show on ESPN spanning 20 plus decades. First Take is the #1 morning show, 13 years and counting. April will be 14 years. Don't tell me you an athlete and you don't know that. Don't tell me you an athlete and you don't know that Cam Newton ain't on the show. You're lying. That's #1. #2, I'm going to take it to a more serious tone with that because I get where you're coming from, RC, and I don't disagree with you. But how about athletes looking out for athletes? I remember when there was a time when it was so much media that we were saying, athletes, once you're not playing anymore because of your expertise, y'all should be on TV. The opportunity should be there. One of the problems, sitting here right in front of y'all, right? This is First Take. There's nothing that I know about football that they haven't taught me. I was a reporter. Ain't play no damn football. Don't tackle me. Don't hit me. Nah.
Shut up. Yeah, honest to God. Is this clip from Halloween? Because Cam Newton looks like he's dressed for Halloween. But I didn't know Cam Newton was on First Take. He says it's the #1 morning show. That means nothing. Look at the numbers. Probably, I don't know, 100,000 viewers or something. Drake Maye's busy. He's the quarterback of an NFL team. He's busy. He's not watching First Take. Excuse me. Beyond that, Drake Maye has said Cam Newton's his idol. He grew up in North Carolina watching the Panthers. It's his idol. He loves Cam Newton, but he doesn't watch First Take. So Stephen A says he's a liar. Of course he watches First Take. No, he doesn't. You think all the NFL, you think Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are sitting down in the morning when they're, they're at the stadium. They're looking at film. They're practicing. They're getting treatment. They're not watching you, Stephen A., you clown. By the way, you know what else he said? Kind of went under the radar. He was talking about Ole Miss. He said black players don't want to play at Ole Miss. I don't know. I've seen a few Ole Miss games. They're really good, and they have some really good black players. It's like a take from, 1975 or something. And Paul, what's his name? The bald guy. He called him out. He said, that is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But he doesn't know because he doesn't watch. He doesn't pay attention. He just says, I got a hot take. The brothers, that's what he said, the brothers don't want to play at Ole Miss. Well, I think they do. I think they are. I think Ole Miss could win a national title, and there are lots of brothers on that team. But he doesn't care. He just says, I'll say something to get people going. I'll say something really outrageous. Yeah, the brothers don't want to go to Oxford. Yeah, they do. And you just made that up. But he makes $12 million a year, and Sean Hannity puts him on and tells him he loves him. I watched last time Sean Hannity had Stephen A. on. He said, I love you, Stephen, 3 times in one segment. I love you, Stephen. See, look at me. I'm Sean Hannity, and I love the loud, crazy black guy. Aren't I cool? It's just embarrassing, and it's all performative. It's not even real. All right. That will do it. We got an update on Zoran. Has he arrived at the Oval Office yet?
Nothing yet. I assume when he gets there, Trump's going to be throwing his garbage out the front steps.
It's going to be. I'm just too excited about this. It's going to be funny. All right. I don't think it'll be real newsy. I don't think it'll be real serious. But Trump is going to make it entertaining somehow, some way. He's going to take some shots at the commie. He's going to threaten to withhold federal funds, and the commie has no choice but to bend the knee, which will piss off all the other commies. Can't wait. Sounds like fun. But that will do it for today and for this week. We never got to the comments. Damn. You got to remind me, Ironhead. I keep forgetting. We got to get to nothing but a hood rat, says Terry. What the hell is she talking about? I'm telling you. She gets people going. Jazzy gets people going. We have to keep her around. We have to make her the face of the Democrat Party. She's an absolute fool, but she's a loud, proud fool, so it's always entertaining. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again Monday.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah. I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. And